This is the pinnacle of your experience here. It's what you've come for.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is I've got a 101 tip on this, I've got a 104, and I've got a 125. So essentially they're the same type of tip, but just graduating up in size. And then this one's a big one.
So they're narrower at the top, or one side's narrower.
Yeah, one side's narrow. It's a bit like a squashed teardrop almost.
Yeah.
And then I've chosen these sorts of colours today.
So that's what the final thing.
That's
like.
kind of what it's going to look like, just depending on how I hold the nozzle tip. If I hold it in quite tight, it's going to have quite a closed effect. If I want to hold the nozzle tip upright a little bit more, say 90 degrees to the table, it's going to be far more open. So you can muck around with the size of your ranunculus and the opening of your ranunculus as well.
Mm-hmm.
Try not to get my elbow in that and get it well away from me. Okay, so I make it nice and tight. And I squeeze from here. If you can't control your bag very well, you might have too much filling in there. So first of all, I'm just going to create a little platform mound that I'm going to build on top of. Doesn't have to look pretty. Purposely not trying to make it look pretty. And then I make a little mound there. So it's sort of rounded, but like a bit of a ball shape. And if you want, you can even clean up like that. You can get a fourth bag and make a ball, but seriously. Okay, here we go. So I've got a little bit of an opening, but I've got 4 cross hatching themselves over each other. And then starting a little bit further down. So I basically went into a diamond shape across the square. I didn't line them up with each other. I went from here to there and then from here to there. So you get a little bit more of that natural look. I'm just going to fill it under here a bit because it's a little bit gappy. I don't want it falling over. So I generally do about 2 layers of that. So 1 row and then another row, layers, rows, whatever you want to call it. But I generally do 2. And they usually comprise of 4 in the middle and then 4 on the next one. But if you need to add another one because you think it's just got a bit of a gap, there's no sort of strict rules that you can't do it. Now if you have trouble tightening the edge on here, you can just sit that there, hold your position, tighten it up, get your good tension, clean up your nozzle tip, make sure it's ready to go, point facing up, and then same thing. So I'm going to go for 5 there because I think it suits it. So my nozzle tip is very much following the angle of the last petal. If I wanted it more upright, I'll face it this way. If I want it more closed, I angle it this way.
But we want it quite close.
Yeah, generally they're pretty closed. You do see a lot open as well. So when I do an arrangement, I like to have a bit of small and I like a bit of large and I like some open because it makes it more realistic for me to get a nice end result. So now this is the last one. So if you want to open it up a bit, now I could stop there or I could go another row. I actually quite like that one like that, so I'm going to stop. It's probably the hardest thing is when to stop and have you done enough rows. But yeah, just...